The end of an era is happening in San Francisco. For years, they've been one of the most dominant teams across the league, but recently, they allowed Deebo Samuel to go seek out a trade. It appears they may move off Kyle Juszczyk this offseason. Trent Williams isn't getting any younger, and today, according to Ian Rappaport, San Francisco in this 49ers squad would be open to move off Brandon Aiyuk. Obviously, this is a good sign for their faith in Ricky Pearsall coming up, as well as their other younger wide receivers like Jacob Cowing, but it makes you question what they're looking to do with this team moving forward. In recent years for Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, the philosophy has been to retool and then make another Super Bowl push. But by them moving off Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, maybe even Kyle Juszczyk, that seems like a recipe to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. And if you put yourself in Kyle Shanahan's shoes, you can see how you would come up to this realization pretty quickly. Brock Purdy is set to become one of the most expensive quarterbacks in the league. They seem heavily invested into him, but right now, you have a lot of bloated contracts across the roster. You either need to renegotiate those contracts or trade some players, which apparently they're trying to do. When you look at a potential Brandon Aiyuk trade, for instance, it's not going to be because San Francisco necessarily is getting a great player back, but because they're getting all this money off their books. He has a contract that's worth $120 million, and last year in 7 games, he just had 374 yards, and that was before tearing his ACL. That's not to say no team will be interested in him, but not the same way they were last year. If you recall, last year there was a lot of buzz surrounding Brandon Aiyuk and the Patriots, as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. That interest still is there, but maybe not for the same amount of value as last year. Maybe a 3rd round pick, plus picking up his contract. And the 3rd round pick is being pretty generous. More likely than not, they're probably going to start by offering a 5th round pick, something later in the draft, and it's up to San Francisco to determine if that's worth it for their plans moving forward. What are those plans? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think this is all giving us an indicator to their thoughts of this draft and free agency period. Maybe that means signing a veteran wide receiver who you think can offer pretty good production, someone like Davante Adams, who's actually been projected to be released this offseason. Or they have pretty high thoughts of the offensive weapons available in this draft. Maybe with their first pick, they pick up the tight end Tyler Warren, one of the most dynamic players we've seen in a while. Or they trade back, pick up a couple of wide receivers, and use the picks from Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk to pick up a couple more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Whatever those exact plans are though, it's clear something's going to change for San Francisco this offseason, and they're in for a completely different franchise moving forward. The years of Deebo Samuel breaking 1,000 tackles on his way to a touchdown are frankly over. While some may see this as a bad thing, I'm pretty excited about how San Francisco's team will be constructed moving forward. In the last couple of years, we got to watch one of the funnest offenses across the entire NFL, in large part due to Kyle Shanahan's vision on how to build this team, pick his players, and design a playbook for those players. I think he can do it again. But that's not to say I'm not without concerns. Brandon Aiyuk is one of my favorite players on this team, and I think he has a great connection with Brock Purdy. And prior to his ACL tear, thanks to his ability to get in and out of breaks, he was able to routinely beat man coverage. And going without Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk next year may make your entire offense flat. It's not like experience doesn't translate to the NFL. There's a reason you have veterans, and there's a reason there's things called rookie mistakes. And that's probably one of my biggest fears. San Francisco goes out and goes full rebuild mode this offseason, and next year, you just see it on the football field. You see drop passes, you see missed blocks, you just see a team that's not very well experienced. But like John Lynch said recently at the Combine, San Francisco is one of the oldest teams in the NFL, and they must get younger. So this may be a good thing. I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for taking a part of your day to watch my content. It really means the world to me.